Russia's defense minister says its military is advancing on almost all areas of the front line in Ukraine. That's despite efforts by the US to mediate an end to the war. Several Russian drones targeted the region of Kyiv in the east. At least one person was killed and several others were injured. Ukraine says Russia launched 88 drones across the country overnight. Meanwhile, local Russian media is reporting that a drone attack hit Zelenograd in Russia's Moscow region, damaging a technology building. Ukraine's military says it hit a Russian cruise missile production site. Russia's defense ministry says that overnight its air defences downed 296 Ukrainian drones across 13 regions. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in the German capital, Berlin, and has been holding talks with the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. They've reached new agreements on defence sector investments with both countries to jointly produce long-range missiles. Kyiv has consistently sought military aid from its allies.
Our defence ministers will sign a memorandum today on the procurement of Ukrainian-made long-range weapon systems, so-called long-range fires. There will be no range restrictions. This will enable Ukraine to fully defend itself, even against military targets outside its own territory. This marks the beginning of a new form of military-industrial cooperation between our countries, one that has great potential.
Well, Michael Borsackiou is a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council with the Eurasia Centre, and he joins us now from Chișinău in Moldova. Many thanks indeed for taking the time to join us. So we heard that Friedrich Merz saying that Germany is going to be financing Ukrainian-made long-range missiles with no range limits. How significant is this announcement?
Good to be with you. Well, it's pretty significant. It's one of the first pledges from that side to assist Ukraine. I think it's a recognition of Ukrainian capabilities, and in a very, very positive way, given what's going on in the big geopolitical sphere, especially with the United States. The more allies of Ukraine can do to bolster the country's capability to produce missiles and attack drones, air defense systems, so much the better. In more than 3 years of the war, Ukraine has gone so far in terms of domestic capabilities that it's, as we saw, for example, the past 24 hours, paralyzing airspace in various parts of Russia and striking an electronics plant that has been linked to Russia's war in Ukraine, shows that they're making significant progress to launching their own missiles and drones and actually producing them on Ukrainian soil.
But Germany still isn't saying that it's going to deliver Ukraine its powerful Taurus cruise missiles anytime soon, is it? Why is it holding back on that?
Well, it's the devil's in the details, isn't it, often? And we're talking about domestic politics here. There seems to be some disagreements, if we can put it that way, in the coalition that Mr. Merz is head of. So I think there is nervousness there about giving the Taurus missile. Now, let's be clear. The range on those missiles are not that much greater than the French or British missiles. However, their strike capability, in other words, to deliver a powerful punch, including below ground into bunkers, is very, very significant. And that's what Ukraine wants right now. The other fear among probably some opposition parties in Germany is that Ukraine may use that capability to finally strike once and for all and put it out of action, the Kerch Strait Bridge, Mr. Putin's pet project, billions of dollars of investment in there, which of course links Crimea with the Russian mainland. Ukraine would like nothing more than to put that out of action because, of course, that's a big logistical connection in this war in Ukraine.
And just a few hours ago, we heard the Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, saying that Russia will soon announce the next round of direct talks. But here at this press conference, we heard from the German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, saying that Russia shows no interest in holding peace talks. So what's going on there?
Well, the Germans know the Russian mentality very well, and I fear he's right, is that what Russia is doing is part of their normal playbook, stretching things out as long as possible. And just, I believe it was also in the past 24 hours, Mr. Lavrov saying that all countries surrounding Russia, including here in Moldova, have to give up any aspirations to become part of NATO. I mean, these are ridiculous demands, but it shows the Russian stance that when it finally does come to the table, and by the way, Mr. Lavrov said Turkey would probably be the best venue, then their list of demands will be something no Ukrainian president can agree to. But it is, I guess, if we're looking for any glimmer of hope, it is that at least the Russians seem to be agreeing that, yes, another summit is needed. Yes, it's probably Turkey, but only if the conditions are met from their side will Mr. Putin show up.
Because there's also the complication of the relationship between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. I mean, Trump was clearly personally affronted by Moscow's massive drone strike on Ukraine over the weekend. So where does it leave that relationship?
Yeah, well, you know, I, as a Canadian, we have come to know very well Mr. Trump's flip-flopping, his threats, and then backing away from them. But I think there's a key that we saw here in the past few days, really, of Mr. Trump's intent. He still fantasizes about Russia being this huge economy. And if only we can get Russia a bit closer to the United States, you know, make friendly with them, then it will make a huge difference in terms of investment in the United States. Well, that's not true. I mean, right now, the Russian economy has deteriorated to such an extent. It's basically the size of the Netherlands economy. And secondly, it's growing at, I think it's 0.5% a year. That's only a fraction of the growth rate of Poland. So if Mr. Trump were wise, I think he'd probably do better to do economic deals with Poland rather than with the very declining Russia.
Michael Porticu, great to speak to you. Thanks very much for joining us on Al Jazeera.
My pleasure.